Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Friday's Story Club. Today, we are going to be reading a very, very special story about a special giant. But first, we need to make sure that we are doing good sitting. Well done. Let's sign together. Good sitting. And also, good listening. Well done. Good listening. And when we can see the story and when we can see all the pictures, we need to do good looking. Well done, boys and girls. Now today we are going to be singing our hello song. So pop your singing voices on. La 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 la. And get your hello hands ready. Are we ready? Hello, everyone. Hello everyone, hello everyone, how are you today? How are you feeling today? Wow, well done. As you can see, the sun is shining outside. Maybe you can go on a little walk. Maybe you can go and play in the garden. Maybe you're going to build with your bricks and toys. Or maybe after this you'd like to go and read your own storybook. Now, this is our story we're reading today. It is called The Smartest Giant in Town. Let's see what he gets up to on his adventures today. Here he is. George was a giant, the scruffiest giant in town. He always wore the same pair of old brown sandals and the same old patched up gown. I wish I wasn't the scruffiest giant in town, he said sadly. Poor George. But one day, George noticed a new shop. It was full of smart clothes. So he bought a smart shirt, a smart pair of trousers, a smart belt, a smart stripy tie, some smart socks with diamonds on the side, and a pair of smart shiny shoes. Now I'm the smartest giant in town, he said proudly. George left his old clothes behind in the shop. He was about to go home when he heard a sound. On the pavement stood a giraffe who was sniffing sadly. What's the matter? Asked George. It's my neck, said the giraffe. It's so very long and so very cold. I wish I had a long warm scarf. Oh, that poor giraffe. Cheer up, said George, and he took off his stripy tie. It didn't match my socks anyway, he said, as he wound it round and around the giraffe's neck. It made a wonderful scarf. Thank you, said the giraffe. As George strode towards home, he began to sing to himself. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, but look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town. Very helpful to the giraffe. George came to a river. On a boat stood a goat who was bleating loudly. What's the matter? Asked George. It's my sail, said the goat. It blew away in the storm. I wish I had a strong new sail for my boat. Oh, the poor goat on his boat. Cheer up, said George as he took off his new white shirt. It kept coming untucked anyway, he said as he tied it to the mast of the goat's boat. It made a magnificent sail. Thank you, said the goat. George strode on, singing to himself, my tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, my shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat, but look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town. Oh no. George came to a tiny ruined house. Beside the house stood a white mouse with lots of baby mice. They were all squeaking. What's the matter? Said George. It's our house, squeaked the mother mouse. It burned down and now we have nowhere to live. I wish we had a nice new house. Their poor house got burned down. Cheer up, said George, and he took off one of his shiny shoes. It was giving me blisters anyway, he said. As the mouse and her baby scrambled inside, the shoe made a perfect home for them. Thank you, they squeaked. George had to hop along the road now, but he didn't mind as he hopped. He sang to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, my shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat, my shoe is a house for a little white mouse. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town." Look at him doing all that hopping. George came to a campsite. Beside a tent stood a fox who was crying. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's my sleeping bag," said the fox. "I dropped it in a puddle. I wish I had a warm, dry sleeping bag." Ooh, what do you think that George can use for a sleeping bag? Shall we see? "Cheer up," said George as he took off one of his socks with diamonds up the sides. "It was tickling my toes anyway," he said. As the fox snuggled into it, it made a very fine sleeping bag. "Thank you," said the fox. George hopped on, singing to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, my shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat, my shoe is a house for a little white mouse, one of my socks is a bed for a fox. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town." Wow. George came to a big squelchy bog. Beside the bog stood a dog who was howling. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's this bog," said the dog. "I need to get across, but I keep getting stuck in the mud. I wish there was a safe, dry path." What could he use? "Cheer up," said George, and he took off his smart new belt. "It was squashing my tummy anyway," he said, as he laid it down over the bog. "It made an excellent path." "Thank you," said the dog. The wind started to blow, but George didn't mind. He hopped on, singing to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, my shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat, my shoe is a house for a little white mouse, one of my socks is a bed for a fox, my belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog, but my trousers are falling down. Oh, I'm the coldest giant in town." Look, his pants are showing. Suddenly George felt sad and shivery and not at all smart. He stood on one foot and thought, "I'll have to go back to the shop and buy some more clothes," he decided. He turned around and hopped all the way back to the shop. But when he got there, it was closed. "Oh no," cried George. He sank down on the doorstep and a tear ran down his nose. He felt as sad as all the animals he had met on his way home. Then, out the corner of his eye, he saw a bag with something familiar poking out of the top. George took a closer look. "My gown," he yelled, "my dear old gown and sandals." George put them on. They felt wonderfully comfortable. "I'm the cosiest giant in town," he cried, and he danced back home along the road. Outside his front door stood all the animals he had helped. They were carrying an enormous present. "Come on, George," they said, "open it." George untied the ribbon, and inside was a beautiful golden paper crown and a card. "Look inside the card, George," said the animals. George put the crown on his head and opened the card. Your tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. Your shirt is a boat for a sail for a goat. Your shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of your socks is a bed for a fox. Your belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog. So here is a very fine crown to go with your sandals and gown for the kindest giant in town." Oh, that was very lovely of all the animals, and that was very lovely of George to help all the animals when they needed him. And that is the end of our story. Oh, well done, boys and girls. I liked this story because I liked helping friends. I liked it when he gave the giraffe his scarf and helped the dog cross the bog. There was lots of rhyming words in there too, wasn't there? Well done, boys and girls. Thank you for doing good listening to me and good looking and good sitting. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again on Monday. Have a lovely weekend. Bye.